Rise and shine, dreamers. Another blessed and grateful day. Happy Wednesday. Sending love and blessings to the family. Today is a day that we've never seen and a day that we'll never see again. So let's go ahead and make the most of it. I love it, love it. So today's topic, fam, we're getting into a big one. This is going to be the 5-time wasters that I believe nobody is really not susceptible to these. At the end of the day, we're all human, right? We all have distractions. We all live in a world with social media, work, family, life. So today I want to go ahead and help everybody get some clarity on 5 key pieces that John C. Maxwell lays out that I really believe is going to give us a ton of value for today. So Cedric, dreamers, it's great to see everybody. Grateful to be alive. Let me know, what's everybody grateful for coming into today? Grateful for the sun, a beautiful day to be alive, for God, for the access, for the community, for each and every single one of you, because you already know teamwork makes the dream work. So let's go ahead and get into it for today, right? 5-time wasters. When it comes to number 1, John C. Maxwell, he talks about waiting for inspiration, right? Waiting for that perfect moment, waiting to go ahead and take action when something happens. You know, but when you study the greats like Bob Proctor, Jim Rohn, some of the legends, they all say the secret is the feeling, right? Many wait until they finally get the reward or they get the achievement to go ahead and feel happy, to really finally take action. But you know what I noticed? The key is it's not waiting for that moment. You see, the key is assuming the wish fulfilled, right? Believing and moving as if it's already done. So for me, when I really sat down and thought about it, we don't need to wait for inspiration. Yes, a motivational video is phenomenal, but that might only last for a minute. It might last for a couple hours, but eventually I started to notice, why does that fade? And because that's motivation. It doesn't last. Inspiration is being able to find something that's going to allow us to take the action long after the feeling has left. So when you think about inspiration, what do you think about? What comes to mind? You know, years ago when I was living out of my car and I had no job and I had really no money to eat. In fact, I was showering in the LA Fitnesses. This is where I would shower, right? Because at the end of the day, I didn't need somebody to go out and inspire. My situation inspired me because I was tired of being sick and tired. I was tired of being broke. I was tired of having more month at the end of my money. And I knew if nothing changed, nothing would change. So really think about it. You know, people are looking for inspiration, but at the end of the day, we don't have to look much. Look at your family. Your parents, are they still working? Your grandparents, are they still struggling? If the answer is yes, and we're sitting here chilling, I don't believe we need any inspiration. You know, for me, it's tough. How can I think about going out on the weekend when my mom is struggling? When she's literally living inside of a motel with roaches? I can't even think about going out and partying because I know that this is way bigger than me. So number 1 is, what is your inspiration? Number 2, the second thing, okay? The second biggest time waster is going to be a lack of priorities, okay? Now, we all know what it's like to not have priorities. Drop a 3 down below if you guys know somebody who doesn't really have priorities, who they kind of just wake up every day and they just wing it. They do the same thing over and over again, and every year seems to pass and they keep wondering like, yo, why am I not in a different place? Why am I not driving a different car? Why aren't I able to go ahead and travel? And one of the things I realized is not having priorities, right? When I was in college, we all had the wasted Wednesdays, the thirsty Thursdays, the going out on the summer parties and the Super Bowl sessions, right? That's going to happen a lot this summer. We all are going to see it all over our timelines. Hey, come out to the Super Bowl party. Come out to the pool. But you're going to start to realize that, why is there so many people winning online? Have you ever noticed that? How is there individuals that are 18, 25, 35, 45, and they're crushing it online? And then maybe like myself, you felt like, how are they winning and I'm not? I might be just as smart as them. I might have more talents. I might have more skills. Why am I not making the type of money and impact? You know why? Because they didn't wait for inspiration and they start to get their priorities in check. You know, when I used to come back home, my roommates, they were playing video games. They were watching Netflix. They weren't really doing anything productive. And you know what happened to me? I started to fall into that category. I stopped getting productive. I wasn't learning every day. And then I started to realize the law of association, right? You see, all of us, we become the average of the 5 individuals that we spend the most time with. So my 5 didn't really have goals. They didn't have visions. So I said, you know what? Let me go find 5 that actually have the life that I want to live. They have a relationship with God. They're actually humble. They're giving back. They're being of service. They're doing things with the church. That's the type of association I realized I needed to surround myself. And when I did, I came back home and some of my roommates, they were studying. They were taking notes. They were listening to audios. They were going out and hitting the gym. I said, you know what? Let me start reading a little bit. Let me start listening to audios. Let me get back in the gym and get my priorities in check. So that's one of the next biggest time wastes is lack of priorities. We've all been there. We all know the feeling. Next one is going to be number 3. 3 out of 5 is going to be a fear of failure. The third biggest time waster. Fear of failure. I know what this is like too. I was afraid to get into public speaking. I was afraid to speak in front of a room. When I went to my first event and I saw how much impact and income they were making on stage, I was like, I don't know if I can ever do that. But then I started seeing people just like me, 25, 20, 30 years old, and here they are traveling, growing every day, becoming the best version of themselves. You know, it inspired me. It made me realize that it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't really matter where you come from. As long as you're open-minded, willing to learn, and you're not afraid to fail, that was the only difference between anybody on stage. They weren't afraid to fail. I looked at their page and said, you know what, D, go scroll down on my page. Go look at my story. And you guys can even do that with mine. Go look at mine. Go look at Chino's page. We weren't the greatest speakers. The videos were not edited. We were studying. It took us 59 takes to go ahead and get a video done. But we said, you know what? I would rather actually go ahead and actually get it done than wait to be perfect. That's what my mentor always told me. He said, D, done is the new perfect. While you wait to have the perfect moment and you keep trying to avoid failure, he said, I'm going to go out and I'm going to learn and I'm going to tweak my mistakes and we're going to grow. Mr. Beast, one of the greatest YouTubers, he said, when you look at my content, the reason why I've been able to grow and develop to where I am today is because of failure. Because he learned. He said, anytime somebody critiqued my video, I would take that nugget and I would go and implement it on the next one. So it's not failure. It's only failure if we don't learn from the lesson. Now it becomes growth. Now it becomes something to go ahead and utilize and become better than we were last time. So number 3, third biggest time waster is fear of failure. Number 4, stick with me. I'm almost done. Number 4 is going to be repeating mistakes. Repeating mistakes, right? That's what growth is all about. When we go out and we try something, we're able to get data. And now we're able to start finding what works, what doesn't work, and we can double down on our strengths and we can get surrounded with others that maybe can support us with our weaknesses. So that's number 4. And last but not least, number 5 is going to be this question. I have a question to go and end off today's session. Are we living life or is life living us? Woo! That's actually the quote that's on my Facebook on my cover photo. Are we living life or is life living us? And when I got out of college, that's exactly how I felt. I felt like life was living me. I'm stuck in my job. I'm working crazy hours. I'm in debt. I feel like everything is just pouring down on me. How do I get in a position where I feel like I'm actually living life? Where I feel like I actually have a little bit of control. You know what it was? It was all 4 of these things that we went over today. Finding inspiration. But at the end of the day, we don't really need it. Number 2 was actually getting our priorities straight. Number 3 was not being afraid to fail. Number 4 is learning from the mistakes. And number 5 is literally compounding that list and rinse, washing, and repeating. And now you see people on stage. You might see them on stage in the spotlight, but you didn't see what was happening in the dark when nobody was watching, when nobody believed, when everybody was talking smack. They were still studying and beating on their craft. So hold the vision, trust the process, and realize there's a reason why great things take time. The journey is far worth more than the destination. The person that we become along the way to go ahead and develop these habits and disciplines is really what it's all about. So as you can see, fam, we're getting it in today. The growth continues. Anything you need, we got your back. It is Wednesday. Dream Team call is at 7 p.m. Spread this out, blast this out to the family. These are always one of my favorite calls to keep the week flowing and to really give out some gems, recognize all of the amazing things that's happening in the organization. I'm so proud of you, fam. You're doing phenomenal. So remember, we can be, do, and have anything. We can hold it in our mind. We can hold it right here in our hand. It's game time. Let's go.